What's going on, everybody? Welcome to After Prison Show, and today I want to share with you guys three absolutely crazy stories that are just recently in the news. It's been a long time since we've done a video like this addressing crazy prison-related stories in the news, and I am trying to bring you guys videos like this maybe like once a week or maybe once every 2 weeks. Before we get into this video, however, I do want to give a very special shout out to my new clothing sponsor. You guys may have noticed more recently in these videos, I'm wearing a lot more dress shirts that look like they could be either a dress shirt or maybe like some sort of a cover to your kitchen table. But again, I do want to give a very special shout out to Walmart. That's right, that's where I'm actually buying these shirts from. And real quick, this is not a sponsored video, but for those of you who may be looking for nice dress clothes, Walmart definitely has some nice shirts. In fact, this shirt and a couple of others that I've got very similar to this, I think these things were like $14 a piece. So if you need some good dress clothes, maybe for a job interview or just to be able to dress nice so that you're not always wearing orange After Prison Show shirts, Walmart should be your place. But with mentioning that, let's go ahead and get into these crazy stories in the news that are all prison-related stories. And I'm telling you, each and every one of these stories is absolutely insane. This first story comes to us from Texas, and this is actually a follow-up to a video that we did a few months prior involving a guy that used to work for a correctional center down in Texas. And I think this guy was like some sort of a kitchen worker at this correctional center down in Texas who was accused of stealing like $1.2 million worth of fajita meat from this detention center. In fact, I think the original video that we did for this was like prison fajitas gone wrong. What do you mean you got 800 pounds of fajitas? We don't serve fajitas to these bad kids. These kids is locked up. We ain't giving them no fajitas. What you think this is? Chipotle? Yeah. It's pretty hard to understand how this guy could get away with stealing $1.2 million worth of jail food and be able to carry this on for as long as he did. In fact, this guy had like his own food truck or restaurant where he was actually using this stolen jail food to then resell to the public. Now, the crazy thing about this is back then we had no idea what kind of time this guy was facing, but now we actually know how much time this guy was actually sentenced to, and this is by far something I could have never even imagined. The defendant, the guy actually responsible for stealing this meat, a guy by the name of Gilberto Escamilla, actually just received 50 years in prison for stealing some damn jail food. You know, it's the craziest thing to think about, but when you're serving time and you're going to a chow hall, many of prisoners, myself included, will try to smuggle things out of that chow hall, stuffing those items inside of bags or gloves down their pants, hoping that they're able to get past the pat down that is guaranteed to be waiting for them as they're leaving from the chow hall. And to think that this is something that's like an everyday occurrence while serving time, here is a guy who just received 50 years for doing something somewhat similar, though not really similar at all actually, because this guy in fact stole $1.2 million worth of prison food, instead of just like a chicken patty or maybe a couple of hot dogs like a prisoner might try to smuggle back for themselves. This story goes on to say that this former Cameron County Juvenile Detention Center employee, this was actually taking place at a juvenile jail, not an adult facility, but it says that this actually started out with this guy stealing small amounts of fajitas bought with county funds, but that this scheme soon ballooned and spun out of control. This guy Gilberto Escamilla said that he felt horrible for doing this and wished that he could take it all back. You know, funny damn thing about it is anytime you're sitting at that defendant's table inside the courtroom facing some time, that's usually the time people start to feel horrible wishing they could take back what it is that they're sitting in that courtroom for. It was selfish, 53-year-old Gilberto said. During his sentencing hearing Friday morning, it started small, then got bigger, and then eventually out of control. In fact, it got to the point where he says he couldn't control it anymore. I'm wondering if that's got something to do with being like a kleptomaniac, the fact that this guy couldn't keep his hands off stealing things when he goes inside of the prison. Like people might have a problem with that when they go inside of like a Walmart, Target, or any other store like that, possibly having a hard time avoiding stealing things, or maybe it got so far out of control because this guy really needed this $1.2 million worth of jail food to keep his food truck or restaurant operational. Escamilla pleaded guilty. Now here's the crazy damn thing about it. This guy actually pleaded out to this. You know, most of the time when you take a plea deal, you stand the chance of receiving like a lesser sentence. Instead of being somebody like me when I went to court for my nonviolent drug offenses and said, I ain't taking no plea deal because y'all ain't coming at me with nothing. I stand a better chance going inside this courtroom and trying to plead not guilty, though I know I am guilty. Because at this point, what do I got to lose? But again, the crazy thing is this guy took a plea deal. You would imagine in a situation like this, by taking a deal, this guy stood the chance of receiving somewhat of a lesser sentence. However, that was not going to be the case at all. Escamilla pleaded guilty on Friday to theft by a public servant in front of a visiting state district judge. And they bring up the fact that this judge was a visiting judge. I'm sure during his court proceedings, his lawyer asked for a change of venue, meaning that there was some kind of conflict of interest, him actually being tried in the same little county where he's accused of stealing this $1.2 million worth of meat from. So I'm really feeling like something along those lines is the reason why they brought in an out-of-town judge to proceed over this trial. But I just gotta tell you, you know, at this point, this guy's probably thinking to himself after receiving 50 years for this crime, like, damn, you know, I might have been better off taking my chances with a local judge instead of this visiting out-of-town judge. And though this judge did end up sentencing this guy to half a century in prison, he did go ahead and throw out one additional charge of theft. Hey, look, man, I ain't trying to hear no excuses for why you stole this $1.2 million worth of jail food. You getting 50 years in prison, but I am going to do you one favor. I'm going to do you one favor. I'm going to go ahead and throw out this additional charge of theft that might actually carry another 50 years. Now, the last crazy thing that I want to mention with this story is the fact that when this guy was going to court, going through his trial, getting ready to take this plea deal, his lawyer went to the prosecutor asking that Escamilla be placed on probation or at the very most given like 5 years in prison and then an opportunity to be able to pay back this $1.2 million worth of stolen county funds. But I'm guessing the prosecutor and judge, they weren't trying to hear nothing of that conversation. Probation? 5 years in prison? Hey, I know you asking for probation or at the very most 5 years in prison. We're going to go ahead and give you 50 years to try to prevent something like this from possibly happening again and make an example out of you. What you think you was going to do? Steal 9 years worth of fajita meat, $1.2 million, and you were going to walk out of here with some probation? Probation! This second story I want to share with you guys involves a 24-year-old Canadian woman by the name of Melina Roberge. Maybe you've seen this story in the news. They refer to this chick as the cocaine babe. And this chick, this is an absolutely crazy situation. When you think about what this chick got caught with and the amount of time that she got, and then I think about my own personal situation, this to me personally makes absolutely zero sense. But old Melina Roberge, 24, pleaded guilty to smuggling 209 pounds. We ain't talking about no grams, we talking about pounds. I don't even know how many kilos that really is, but we're talking about a lot of the white stuff. Again, this chick pleaded guilty to smuggling 209 pounds of cocaine back in 2016, and she only got 8 years in prison for this. And you know, I received 7 years in prison for 7 grams of cocaine back when I served my time. I also had a possession of a firearm charged by a nonviolent offender and also a horrible criminal record at that point. But I got 7 years for 7 grams. This chick got 8 years for 209 pounds. The system ain't right at all. Also, I need you guys to bear with me right now as we're filming this video. Cody's sitting in the background right now trying to keep an eye out. We do have a wasp in the house. There is a good potential by the end of this video with me being loud, I could possibly be getting stung. Cody, I'm allergic to bees too, by the way, so you might have to bring me back, brother. Where did it go? Now I'm super scared because now we have lost visual contact. Melina Roberge became known as the cocaine babe in headlines, and her accomplice, Isabel, I can't even pronounce this guy's last name. I'm not even gonna try. He was 29 years old, or wait, maybe that's a girl, Isabel. That's a chick. So her accomplice, this woman, 29 years old, these two were posting all of these pictures on Instagram as they were on a cruise ship with all of this blow. Traveling somewhere in the Australia area, they were going to like 17 different ports, and I guess finally once the ship docked for its final destination, they got off, and at border security or at the border patrol check, that's when all of this cocaine was discovered. The story goes on to say that this woman was seduced by a lifestyle and opportunity to post glamorous pictures on Instagram from all around the world. And I'm guessing she was going to do whatever she had to do in an effort to do so. You know, some people, they will do anything, just to be Instagram famous, to have their Instagram popping like that. Hey, Cody, how many followers did that chick have? You know, Cody might have more followers than her. Cody's got 100,000 followers on Instagram. Her name is Melina Roberge. She probably doesn't even have an Instagram no more now to think about it. Cody's telling me he cannot find her Instagram. They've probably since deleted it. I'm not exactly sure if the 8 years she received in prison is going to be more detrimental to her than actually learning that her Instagram has potentially been deleted. Now, the crazy thing about this story is this chick was sentenced to 8 years, but it says that she has to serve at least 4 years and 9 months without parole, meaning that after she does serve that amount of time, there's a good potential she's going to go ahead and get released. Again, a lot of the facts in this story, they are really not Is that wasp? Thought I saw him fly by for a second there, Cody. You got to keep an eye out. A lot of the facts of this story, they really ain't making a whole lot of sense to me. I'm just trying to keep it 100 with y'all. Oh, you know what? I just read this part of the story. It says Roberge's account has since been deleted. You know, when she was sitting in the courtroom, the judge probably said, Mrs. Roberge, we are going to sentence you to 8 years in prison. We're also going to have to terminate and disable and dismantle forever your Instagram account. What you mean my Instagram going away? You know how long I worked on it? I got my Instagram. And you know, one last little crazy little footnote to throw into this. When these girls eventually were caught at that border patrol, it says that another 130 pounds was found in a cabin belonging to a man by the name of Andre, a guy in his mid-60s. So this must have been like the connect. I heard him. He's waiting, Cody. He's waiting. He's probably watching me right now like, this dude won't shut up. I got to sting him in the eyeball. But I'm just wondering if when these girls were actually caught, when all was discovered in their luggage, which I'm pretty sure that's where it was found at. I'm wondering if it was then when they said, wait a minute, just wait 1 second. Wait, have you checked Andre's room? Andre got another 130 pounds in his room. Can we work out somebody trying to lose this Instagram? I'm not 100% sure of the facts of this case, but it certainly sounds like these two girls ain't wasting no time to turn on old Andre. Listen to me, girls. You're young. You're both like 24, 29. I need you to keep it 100. I need you to be trained to go. You ain't gonna tell on me, are you? Oh, Andre, we would never tell on you. Never. I got 6,000 followers on Instagram. Andre, you changed my life. Crazy story. Moving on. There's one last story that I want to share with you guys. Maybe you've heard about this one as well, but this deals with a prison escape in the country of Iceland. Now, there are a lot of crazy things to discuss about this particular prison escape. One, I don't even know how you really consider this a prison escape when considering that the prison where Sindri Poor Stephenson escaped from doesn't even have fences or gates around it. In fact, this guy was able to just walk out on his own free will and of accord, and then after escaping from this prison, this guy actually boarded a plane. The same plane, in fact, that the Prime Minister of Iceland was flying on. This guy, Sindri Poor Stephenson, was probably only sitting mere seats away from the Prime Minister of the country from which a prison he had just escaped from. And now this guy was locked up because I guess he was like a suspect in some Bitcoin heist thing. And to be honest with you, I don't even know what a Bitcoin is. I just know it's worth a lot of money. I'm not exactly sure if this guy actually stole Bitcoins or it was something dealing with the mining computers that are used to mine Bitcoins. I have no idea what any of that means at all. I thought you just bought a Bitcoin. What do you mean you have to mine for a Bitcoin, and how exactly are you doing so on a computer? If somebody could please comment down below explaining the entire Bitcoin process, I would be forever indebted to you as I'm trying to figure out how I can mine for some Bitcoins my damn self. Because we ain't got to buy one and all we got to do is mine for one, and we can do so with a computer. What am I doing making these videos? Cody, how we mine for some Bitcoins? I'm trying to get me a Bitcoin. Them things are worth like $1,000.
Like $10,000.
$10,000? Man, GoFundMe coming soon. After Prison Show is trying to purchase for ourselves our very own Bitcoin mining computer. But again, Sidney poor Stephenson, he was locked up in a prison that had no gates, was able to walk right out of this thing and then get on a plane with the prime minister of that very country from which he had just escaped from one of their prisons. And I'm guessing they say now they have no idea where this guy is. Maybe they've got some details about where he is. I don't know. This story is kind of confusing to me. I'm not the smartest tool in the shed, but I do want to tell you guys one really interesting fact to this story that I read. And that was they said that breaking out of a prison in Iceland is not an offense. Well, no duh. They don't even have any fences there for it to be an offense. That was super slick right there. God, boy, I need to be a professional rapper. How you going to commit an offense when you ain't even got no fence? Hold on, I'm not done. I was still... Got it? Got it right here. I wasn't done, sorry. They say breaking out of prison in Iceland is not an offense. However, breaking out of prison is only a criminal offense if it is planned with other prisoners. So you mean to tell me in Iceland, if you walk out that front door and you escape by yourself, solo fidolo, you ain't gonna be charged with nothing. But they say if you plan to break out with some other prisoners, that's when it's a crime. I don't know why anybody's sitting in prison in Iceland. They ain't even got no fences. But, you know, that's all I got for you guys. 3 absolutely insane stories, and I really hope you enjoyed learning about these. If you got any information about any of these stories or anything that you'd like to contribute, please do so down in the comment section below, especially in relation to anything that you might know about a Bitcoin mining computer, because I am absolutely as green as the grass on the ground about anything dealing with any kind of Bitcoin technology. Hey, look, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as well as looking at me rocking this Walmart special or dinner table tablecloth type of button up. And if so, please leave a like and a comment letting me know exactly what you thought about any or all of this. As always, until next time, enjoy life, the free world, never take a moment for granted, and make the most of every day. Peace! Cody, I'm telling you, man, we gotta go get us some Raid spray right now.